All right, we're on. So, yeah, hey everyone. I've got William here with me today. I just wanted to do a quick interview with William because he's been with us for about a year, but now he's really starting to see some great results. I've actually been a coach with him for like a year, so I've really experienced his journey. It's been a ride, and that's normal. That's usually what happens. This is a journey, but I think it's a really cool story, and it's really exciting for me that William is starting to see some really cool results now, and I think it will help inspire uh, others to take the same path and continue even in the face of some obstacles. So thanks so much, William, for taking the time to be with me here today. I'm really excited to chat.
Sure, thanks, Daniel. I'm excited to share a little bit about what I've worked on
Yeah,
with you. And
yeah. So I think the first thing I want to ask you is just like why did you get started? I actually don't really know like truly the backstory, so I'm curious to know like what made you want to
oh,
do this. Like what was going on in your life?
um, well, the real story is a little over a year ago. I had kind of a sort of a life-changing event. Um, Not a near-death experience or anything, but something
Yeah.
that very significantly changed my situation. Um, And I sat down and kind of evaluated where I was, and I set um, quite a few goals for myself in the upcoming year.
Mhm.
And I guess now I can evaluate how I did. So I one of the things I'm an athlete, and I do a lot of triathlons, but I had taken like 2 years off. So one of my goals had been to get back into triathlon, um, which I successfully did. I actually
Yeah.
did so quite well. I race at a national event and I won the event.
Wow.
So I checked
Congrats.
that
I didn't
off,
know that.
and then I competed at a world championship event after that.
Wow.
Um, and then one of my other main goals was to start a business. So I had done a lot of researching. I invested in more than one, um, I guess, coaching plans, and this is the one that I stuck with, and this is the only one that's paid off, I guess, so far.
Wow. Awesome.
So yeah, that was sort of I had a lot of motivation to improve myself, and this was one of two main things that I had focused on. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's been a long road, but and quite slow, but I've gotten there, and I feel like I'm really just getting started, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I'm
absolutely.
excited about the results, and I've got a lot of incoming shipments coming, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that.
No, it's really exciting. And yeah, I didn't know about the triathlon. So congrats on that. That's amazing. So it's been a really big 12 months for you, I guess. You had a lot of
Yeah,
wins. So that's amazing. A lot of momentum.
absolutely.
What
Yeah.
was there anything, I'm just curious, was there anything like why did you want to start an online business? Did you have a job before or different
I
reason?
actually, I actually still currently work an 8 to 5 job
Hmm.
every day,
Hmm.
um, and I honestly I enjoy it.
Hmm.
It's something I do enjoy, but at the same time, I want to control my own, my own self. I
Yeah.
guess. I guess it's very much like a triathlon. Like, I'm really all my work goes into it, and all what I do and the results that I get is
Hmm.
what I've done. Um, and so with with my job, it's like I'm fairly early in my career. At the same time, like the way I see it going, I didn't really want to sit at a desk working for
Hmm.
someone else.
Hmm.
I love to travel. I traveled a ridiculous amount in the last year,
Hmm.
even with with a 9 to 5 and working on this.
Hmm.
And it's just fueled more desire to keep traveling.
Hmm.
So I guess it's really being able to be in control of my own future
Hmm.
financially and as a job.
Hmm.
9 to 5 schedule,
Hmm.
which I'm trying to get out of.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. So that's one of the reasons you wanted to create your own business, is to have more freedom, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
that's obviously something we all want, right? Um,
Yep.
but it's also, I think you seem pretty competitive, right? So it's also like a game for you.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm actually kind of a scientist also
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
training, and Daniel's approach is it's a lot of numbers, it's a lot of research, and I love that stuff. It
Yeah.
probably was it probably made me start slower. I think because I really was learning that so much and enjoyed that part of it.
Hmm.
Whereas there's a couple of hurdles, there's some big hurdles that you end up getting over.
Hmm.
And research is like the easy part.
Hmm.
A lot of people can go through that and find stuff, and but the hurdle of actually going through with it, you know, it does take some money to get started, and then
Hmm.
to be able to do that, working with a supplier, finding supplier, that's kind of like a next hurdle, and then actually placing an initial order
Hmm.
um, would kind of be another big hurdle, and it's like easy to get stuck into one area
Hmm.
and not move forward. And I'm definitely guilty. It's taken me a long time,
Hmm.
but I've made it through a lot of hurdles and have really, yeah, I've been enjoying it so far.
Yeah, yeah. It always stuck with me because I met you in Vegas when you introduced yourself. You said, "I'm a scientist." That was like, "Ooh, that's interesting," because obviously
Yeah,
that's how I look at it as well, and I think that's really served you. But yeah, like you mentioned, I think it helps us get through the hurdles as well, to have that kind of approach where we feel like we know what's going on, and we're not just kind of guessing, and you know, uh, like we feel more confident because we have something to really look at, and that's true, that's real, like data, and we can
yep,
go from there. But you mentioned obviously you've had hurdles, so you got started. It's about a
yeah.
year ago, right, when you started?
I think I signed up about a year ago.
Yeah.
That's right. But it really wasn't till maybe a month after Las Vegas, which was in early
August, yeah.
August last year, that I really was getting into it.
Hmm.
So
So and
I
it's
actually
about.
I think I signed up in June. I think I was one of the
Mhm.
later ones.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's like
but
nine
yeah,
months perhaps, something like that.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'd say that's fair.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And maybe just talk about, so like, um, how it was for you, like getting started. You mentioned the research was kind of easy, uh, but then you
Yeah, okay,
started to have some. Yeah.
I can walk through a little bit of what I did.
Yeah.
Um, so I went to the live event in Las Vegas, and I was definitely like I've never gone to anything like that before.
Hmm.
Um, Definitely a little out of my comfort zone. Fortunately, I live in the West Coast, so it was super easy for me to jump over to Las Vegas.
Hmm.
I think I even flew in Saturday morning, which was um, you had strongly not recommended doing, but I was so close that it
Yeah.
didn't really matter. And I made it on time for like an 8 a.m. start or
Yeah.
something. um, but yeah, so I was super inspired by the workshop and everything I saw in Las Vegas. Basically, a crash course. I took a lot of notes, and I've actually gone back to some of those notes and
Mhm.
and looked at them again. So it's pretty interesting to see
Awesome.
um, how oh yeah, I know that now, kind of a thing. It's like I wrote
Hmm.
it down as something that was brand new, but now I understand it all. Not everything, but some of the things I was referring back to.
Hmm.
Um, so I'd say right after that, I got started with sort of some research, and I mean, I basically followed Daniel's training, and I researched just the hard way, just going on Amazon, looking at top 100 lists, looking at new product rankings, top 100 new products and lists, and I just went through lists and lists and found stuff um, that sort of fit the criteria of what we were looking for, which is outlined in the training. And I came up with a list of 100 and sort of narrowed it down to the best I think 10 at the time. Um, and I did pick a certain niche. I was interested in one certain niche area, which covers about um, I think two main categories on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking in just mainly two main ones, but one thing, yeah. So I was like, knew what the area I wanted to be in, and so I sort of narrowed it from there, and then got 100 product list, and then picked 10. Ended up ordering samples for 7 products,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think I got 4 to 7 units of each, exactly as Daniel outlines, and put my labels on them. No branding, just my own sticker, and then sent them into Amazon for testing. And honestly, quite a few of them looked pretty decent, um, from what I remember.
Yeah,
And one of them in particular, I kind of regret not going for, because I've looked at it recently and it's changed a lot.
for the
There
better.
was like, well, there was one main seller. It was super high volume, kind of unexplained.
Mm.
One seller had like 12 variations, but now it's, well, maybe it's a good thing I avoid it because there's a ton of sellers now.
Mm.
So, and the particular product that I launched only has, I think, 2 new main sellers from when I first identified it. So
Mm.
that's actually kind of cool too.
Mm.
That not too many other people identified that one.
Mm.
Um, and the reviews are still very low, so no one is like dominating. Um, but yeah, so I've only got one product. So yeah, I tested 7, and then I ended up picking 2 from that, um, and uh, and it was all just based on the numbers. Some based on the testing. I think there were 2 in particular that were definite duds. They looked great, um, with the reviews and the rankings and the potential, but the cost. One of them had a cost per click that was like over $3. You would have
Mm.
never guessed. And that was very high.
Mm.
Um, and then some of the other ones, it was one of the other ones, like there was no way to really compete against really well established brands, like off Amazon brands.
Mm.
So I think that's what kind of was tough about that product. But the 2 I picked were great, great potential for private label. Um, so I decided to go for both at the same time, which I think, you kind of have to evaluate your own financial situation, see whether or not you can do that. And I think it's was probably a good move for me because I still haven't launched the second one because I've run into other hurdles,
Mm.
with suppliers. So I think I've ordered 4 different samples and just haven't. I guess I've been pretty picky with getting a good supplier, and hopefully I've picked a good one. But I had one that was very, very communicative, like early on, like made me a sample really quickly, and then just dragged for a month and a half. And I was like, okay, I had to start over, basically looking for a new supplier, um, which added like 2 months almost
Mm.
onto the process, unfortunately. But they're a couple weeks away from being finished, production. It was like a 60-day lead time, so it's a long production time. So it can be a long road,
Mm.
especially when you have to start over the supplier search. But then there's like the Chinese New Year and U.S. holidays that
Yeah.
sort of slowed things down. But that's okay. I'm super excited about the second one coming in, and I think I've got a good supplier. The price was good, and it's got I think it's got really good potential
Mm.
and a lot of potential for variations, which is always kind of nice, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
You can.
So maybe explain like what kind of, yeah, I mean, so you went through this journey, and I remember there was quite a lot of hurdles with suppliers. You actually went to China, right? This was
I
a cool
actually
experience.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a close high school friend who has been teaching English in China for almost 4 years now. And a part of my, reevaluation of goal setting that I did in the spring was involved doing a lot of travel, personal travel. And so I actually booked, like right around that time, over a year ago, I booked a trip to China over Thanksgiving. And it wasn't related to this at all when I had first booked it. But it happens to be my friend lived outside of Shenzhen.
Yeah.
So
Perfect place
so
too.
I actually used it as motivation. It was
Yeah.
great motivation to to figure it out. Basically, I was like, I only have so much time. I'm going to China. Let's figure it out. Let's go visit a factory. Let's go meet with a sourcing agent.
Hmm.
So that was really key in getting me to do it, and it worked out great because the first product, which I launched, uh, is from the factory that I visit.
Hmm.
So it was very beneficial, and good timing, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah, I remember it really inspired you. You know, you were really
Yeah,
jacked up after that trip. This
yeah,
is very normal because it feels more real. You know, you feel like, oh, this is
yeah.
happening. You know, it's real, that kind of thing. I'm curious because you mentioned you tried some other, I guess, business models online before. What do you think was the difference between this one and that? Like, what made you stick to this?
Um, that's a good question. I haven't really thought about it. Honestly, some of the other ones seem easier,
Hmm.
but this one seemed to have more potential to me.
Hmm.
You know, something about creating my own brand seemed really awesome.
Hmm.
Um, all the I have I have so many ideas now, actually.
Hmm.
So I and they're all within my same brand. So I'm creating a brand within a certain niche,
Hmm.
and I've got. I was just writing down a list right before this. I think I've got 20 ideas right now.
Awesome. So awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have the capital for that at this point,
Hmm.
um, but it was really creating a brand. I think was what really interested me.
Hmm.
I spent a lot of time building a website myself.
Hmm.
I had worked with a startup several years ago, and I remember getting a quote for $10,000 to get a website going.
Yeah.
And I was like, "There's no way I'm paying that out of my own money."
Yeah.
It's different when you got VC funding, but
Yeah, exactly.
so I learned how to use WordPress
Hmm.
and built my own site. I haven't updated in over a month, so I need to get on that.
Mm.
But it's like I've showed it to a lot of my friends, and everyone's been pretty impressed. And I think that's really it. I've gotten a lot of compliments with how like the imaging of my brand, like it's very
Hmm.
uniform. I started Instagram account as well. I've been trying to grow that. I already have but I mean it's been like 2 months and I have 350 followers, so
Hmm. It's good.
it's getting started.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's something you're
it was really
passionate
that.
about, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
super passionate about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, every little component about it,
Hmm.
between the social media and the website. None of that stuff I've done before. I
Hmm.
have an Instagram account, but I have like 5 posts
Hmm.
ever
Hmm.
in years and years of whenever Instagram came out. But now I'm learning it, and now I'm interested.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I get
yeah.
excited to do my post every day.
Yeah. I
Figure
guess
out
you're
what
more
hashtags.
passionate about like your brand than yourself, which is maybe a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't like
Yeah.
to necessarily put myself so much out there.
Yeah, I
But when
totally
it's
relate
like
to it. Yeah.
behind a brand, like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I got,
Mhm.
I feel like I've got some pretty good stories I want to write up about my brand, or
Yeah.
why I'm doing this brand, and really gets me excited. I want to work on it on my website. And
Mhm.
there's some camps that say, like, well, you should focus not necessarily on something you're passionate about, but something that's going to make you money. But
Mhm.
for me, it's like, what gets me motivated is the passion.
Yeah.
So I have to pick stuff I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like these other courses that I purchased for a lot of money,
Mm.
there wasn't really in my area of interest. So
Mm.
it wasn't as easy, and hasn't been as easy to keep going with them. I
Yeah.
might revisit them when I get some more time, but
Mhm.
this is what I'm super interested in right now.
Yeah. No, I believe that, like the system for this, doing this business model, for example, it works every single time if you follow through.
Yeah,
But the difference is always the belief, and the, yeah, passion, the drive, because
yeah,
it's a journey. It takes a while. That's the truth of it. And you'll have obstacles. But most people, if they don't have enough belief or passion or drive, they will stop. So if they're just in it for the money, at some point in that journey, they will stop and get distracted. And
yeah,
maybe, if, that was probably what happened for you here is like you found something that you really felt passionate about. And now it didn't matter if there were obstacles along the way because you're going to do it anyway. Like you're doing this for yourself as well because it's something you're
yeah,
passionate about, you're proud of.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that makes all the difference, I think.
And it is cool too, because like I get to tell my friends, like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, oh, I'm selling some stuff online. Like, there's a side thing like I've been working on, and would you help me out? Like, and they're actually super interested,
Mm-hmm.
because my friends have similar interests, and they all are been very supportive. So that's cool too.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And people understand it, right? Because it's on Amazon and it's like you can
Yep,
show the thing right
absolutely.
away.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have gotten a lot of complaints though. I'm not available yet in Canada.
Yeah. People want to buy it from you there. Yeah.
They do, so I
Yeah.
got to work on that. I was just up there this past weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. It should be quite easy for you to expand into that. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. That's what I said.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
that's one of the things I love the most about Amazon is that, it's the same platform, but you can be in
yeah,
multiple countries. It's very easy to
yeah,
expand. You can start selling in Europe and Asia, and it's
hmm
just getting easier and easier to do that.
yeah. Of course, more and
Uh,
more people are getting into it as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm curious, like, so because now you went through this journey, right?
hmm
And you didn't really know what to expect, but you still
yeah,
kept going because you believed in the system and you
yeah,
believed in the things you were talking about, and just it made sense, right? It's just like for me when I got started, this made sense. Like, of course,
hmm
this can work. Like, it's the biggest store in the world, so of course, if I can sell my own product on there, of course, it can work. It makes total sense logically.
yeah.
How could it not? But like, what happened then once you finally had your inventory? Could you kind of talk about like what happened since that happened?
Okay, so it's actually 2 months to the day since my products were available on
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, and I was brand new to this. So ordering 300 units, was a pretty good investment.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, it was what I ended up going with was quite different than the actual product that I tested.
Mm-hmm.
It was similar, but I feel like I went for a much better product
Mm-hmm.
than what I had tested. Of course, yeah. We could talk about some of the review issues later, but
Yeah.
um, so I had 300 units, and they all went into Amazon. And of course, getting your first few reviews is the biggest challenge. And I did a lot of, other reading and whatever. There's so much information out there that it will overwhelm you. Sort of one of the debates is whether or not to course, get some friends to leave you reviews,
Mm-hmm.
or try to get entirely organic and try to do heavy advertisements, Amazon ads right away, and try to get traction. And I end up holding off on the Amazon ads, and getting a handful of friends to help me with a couple reviews.
Mm.
And that, it's kind of risky, I guess. Amazon frowns on that pretty heavily, but but you got to start somewhere. And
Mm.
I'm learning this, and maybe that was a bad move, and it'll bite me in the butt later. But I did find that once I hit 10 reviews, I started getting organic sales.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, in fact, before I even started my ads. So it took me almost a month to get sort of over that point, which was pretty frustrating, because I was like, I can't even get, like, I'm getting my friends to buy it, but I can't even get them to review it.
Mm.
How am I going to get an average person who doesn't know me, who's organically buying? How are they going to review my product?
Yeah.
So maybe I've picked something that people don't necessarily always think about reviewing as much, or they take it for granted or something. So that's something I'll think about. But once I hit 10, then I started getting organic reviews. And then about a week later, I turned on some ads
Mm-hmm.
for, I did both a manual campaign and an automatic campaign with just a
Mm-hmm.
modest, like $10 per campaign, which
Mm-hmm.
is pretty low. But it was what I was willing to spend at the beginning and see
Mm-hmm.
what would happen. And then all of a sudden I'm selling like more than 10 a day, which blew me away, because that was my goal.
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to find a product that sells 10 a day for 30 a month or 300 a month. Yeah. And then you build your portfolio with more
Mm-hmm.
products.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I was selling more than 10 a day, and I'm like, oh crap. Like, I went from basically 1 to 2 a day to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm going to run out way before I can get new product in. And yeah, actually yesterday I ran out. So I was super happy. I only spent $300 in ads in about 2 weeks. Then I turned off the ads, and the volume was sustained basically,
Mm-hmm.
all the way until pretty much yesterday. I ended up raising my price quite a bit to slow it down,
Mm-hmm.
to keep my inventory a little bit longer, and honestly make a little extra money,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew it was going to sell out. So I ended up having a price raise for about 2 weeks, and I had 100 units left, and sold through those.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 2 weeks, really trying to slow my sales down
Mm-hmm.
and make more money.
Yeah,
so
yeah. It
so
can be
then
hard to slow them down. That's a funny thing.
it can be without, you don't really want to lose too much rank. And
Yeah.
so I had immediately got in touch with my supplier, and yeah, tripled up on a new order.
Mm.
Basically, I'm going for it. So put out a
So
lot more
awesome.
money.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, like, I had to make 2 small improvements on the product.
Mm-hmm.
So, and actually they made an improvement on themselves. So they made an update to it
Mm-hmm.
as well. So
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be 3 things different with this new one, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one component of it is capable of breaking, and with their update, that's really not possible to break it anymore.
Nice. Nice.
And then I added a few extra features that are just little bonus things, and they didn't charge me extra for it, so I was still about that.
Yeah, why not?
Some people do. I mean, like, some of the suppliers, like, every little change is like,
Oh yeah, they're all different, So
yeah,
once you
yeah,
find someone that you really like and you're happy with, that could be a incredibly lucrative relationship with other products too.
absolutely. So I think they were pretty stoked about my order as well. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, they can see the potential, Most of them
yeah,
know that there's a lot of people selling successful on Amazon, and those tend to be some of the biggest clients, because you'll have way more volume potentially on Amazon than you most likely would have in like a retail store or something on your own.
Yeah, definitely. So another thing I did was made sure I had good images.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm a fairly creative person. As I built my website with good graphics and stuff. So I did a lot of the legwork with creating the images. Mm-hmm. I didn't actually do any photography or rendering myself, but I was able to Photoshop basically and create sort of my series of 8 photos or images that I wanted. And then I paid a professional to do the renderings and redo my infographics to make them look really good. Mm-hmm. But basically it was content that I created, and then I had it polished by someone else, and it was money well spent.
Yeah.
I've already had one of my competitors kind of steal my
ideas,
steal my infographics, which I guess that's part of the game.
Yeah, but you'll always have an edge if you're the one that's coming up with these ideas.
Yeah, that is true.
But that's cool. So basically, like, reviews and images have been the two key things you think for you, besides obviously the product choice itself. This is the most important thing, and having an actual product that's attractive.
Absolutely, product choice is key. Something that fits your criteria, something you've validated, and something like that you are interested in. That's what's worked for me, and so.
Yeah, because then you can also create a cool infographic, because you understand it.
Exactly. Create a website, and then start creating content for that, brand or product. If I wasn't interested in it, I would have a tough time really working on that website and trying to create content for it.
Yeah.
So I'm really focused on, trying to create an email list and a following on social media. So done a lot of research in those avenues to hopefully help with future product launches.
Absolutely. That's the most powerful thing you can have. It's a list that you can tap into. It's the cheapest way to promote as well. Once it's built, you can always keep pushing new products to that list.
Yeah. One great tip is join all your competitors' email lists. Join every single one. Create a folder if you need to. If you use Gmail, you can add periods or plus like a +1 on the end of your Gmail when you sign up, and you just filter that into a folder. And it just, you don't have to clog your inbox, and you can just go look at the company's emails and see what they're doing for promotions, see what they're doing for content. So I've joined, I don't know, 12 to 15. And it's interesting.
Great
some of them are good.
Great
some are not. So you know what not to do.
Yeah.
Like one guy, like the one in particular has really good content, but the visually, I open the email and I don't want to read it because it's visually very poor. But his content is actually very good. So if he would improve his images and his layout of the email, it would be much better, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting.
These are the notes that I take.
No, it's interesting how some people don't have an eye for it. I think you have an eye for design and branding. It's just really helped you, because that's what people perceive. It's all a perception, especially online. But some people don't think about that and think it's not important. But I think more and more so, it's really important, because that's what people expect. If it's a great brand, it's got to look good too, or it's not a great brand, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. Another thing that I've done is bought a lot of my competitors' products. So I just, buy them off Amazon. Product research, like I'm hopefully going to do some more validation of some products, and I've been buying some of my competitors just to see what I like, what I don't like. I've come back with quite a few surprises. Actually, I got an order in a couple days ago, and I was like, oh man, this is way bigger than I expected. Not in a good way either.
Yeah.
So it gets me thinking, like, how do you improve?
Yeah. One thing I can say about you for sure is you're really on top of your industry, like what's going on, what the products look like. And that was one of the first things you thought of, you know, like when you were doing the scientific research and validation, but now it's like, okay, how can I work with this? How can I create best product? What features do people want? You know, how can I make my product the most attractive? And it's ultimately, it's always all about that. It's about getting people to choose your product over someone else's. And, you know, you have a couple of things to work with, like how does the listing look like? What are you saying? The reviews, but also what is the actual product? You know, that's the most important.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So both the products I'm working on are my color scheme, more or less, basically something I requested. So one, I had to make the order bigger than I wanted initially, which is the one I haven't launched yet. But I'm confident in that product. I think it's going to do well. So I'm
sure, no doubt, because you've done the research, you know, and that's the key. Like, you know, the data is in your favor. But yeah, I love how you've leveraged, you know, private labeling basically to create something unique. You know, you really tapped into what you can do when you private label.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's so much different and more research too that you can start to do when you have a particular niche. You just go on and start finding products instead of searching. There's a lot of tools you can pay for and do product research that way, or you can do a lot of do it manually yourself through top 100 lists. But then you can start going into seeing what your competitors are selling. Are they in the same niche in terms of a portfolio of products? Well, I've actually found my third product by looking at my second product that I haven't launched yet. My main competitor is selling another item in the same niche, which I looked at and I said, I got to sell that too.
Wow. That's cool. Something
so I actually have a third product ordered so far, and it's actually going to be here before the second one.
Okay.
So, I did skip the validation test, but I'm pretty. It's not going to be a super high volume item, but I hadn't seen that product on Amazon before.
Oh.
And after searching, he's the only other one. He's the only seller of it right now. And then I found his supplier.
Wow.
So, and then I improved the product. So
yeah, I would say you're also in your favor on that one, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like there's always these new things that come out, and no one is really selling it. Maybe one, two people, and then you see it's working, and obviously, you know, for that term, like if you're the second person selling it, of course you can get ranked like number 2, number 1.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's. I mean, based on volume, it's not going to be any. You know, I'm not going to retire on that by any means, but it's going to be another one in the portfolio that I can hopefully maintain.
Yeah. And on that, I have to ask you, like, what are your numbers like month 1, month 2?
What were my revenue-wise? Okay, so I'm sold out, 300. I just looked at it. I sold $13,400 in product. I would say probably 11,000 of that was the second month.
Awesome. Cool. Yep. So that's a pretty...
And in terms of like profit, yeah, I paid for the initial cost of the course plus some extra. So with my first 300. So I've got a lot of other expenses, but this is hopefully just the start.
Yeah. It's an explosive start, you know, but it's just a sign of what's to come. And obviously it's a long game that really pays off. You know, when you can run it for years and years, then your investment will really pay off big time.
I'm actually, you know, I get distracted too much by looking over at these other Amazons that I'm not on yet. Like, man, Europe's wide open for my product. It's like
always more open.
Oh man, I'm like pretty excited to get over there.
Yeah, you know, it's almost like how much can you do? You know, how much can you afford to do? How much capacity do you have? Because you can see the opportunity now. You've gone in there and you experienced it. Even if you're just starting, like now your mind is open. Like you're like, okay, this is how it works. Now I can do this, and
Yeah.
You can see so many
Yeah. No,
opportunities.
as I was saying early on, I have way too many ideas,
Hmm.
not enough capital.
Yeah, I
I
know.
really need to focus on these three for now. But
Hmm.
I have tons of ideas.
Yeah, you have to be
So
disciplined and just scale it so it
yeah,
grows like this, instead of up and then
yeah,
crashing.
yeah. Got to be able to maintain the cash flow.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So if my next product sells out really fast, I have enough to get another order going quickly.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm shipping 300 by air, and then the rest are going to come by boat.
Yeah, yeah,
So decided to make that. I had to shop around for an air shipper. There were some really expensive ones, but
oh,
I think
yeah,
I got a good, better deal.
yeah,
Still pricey, but it's gonna be worth it, and I shouldn't lose money on it. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just, a matter of getting it into like a rhythm, so you can maintain, because that's when it really starts to build up. And then you saw it,
yeah,
once you start to get those organic sales, and if your product is good, if it's converting, it will start to get more and more traffic.
yeah,
Amazon is going to want to give you more traffic, but it can happen so fast that you run out, but once you're able
yeah,
to maintain it, that's when it will continue to grow for a while. I have no doubt about it. That's always what happens. And if you continue to improve it, this can obviously grow much bigger than what you've seen month two. Uh,
yeah. I hope we'll see. Yeah, definitely better than my expectations. I think one day I had 19 sales,
mhm.
which was pretty pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, I 100% know that's, this is what's coming if you can just maintain this,
Yeah,
and keep it running.
yeah,
Uh, that's how it works. Because Amazon is, I mean, I don't even know how many people are buying produce selling per day on Amazon, but it's got to be, I don't know, 200 or something,
yeah. Probably.
yeah, who
Yeah.
knows? But what has surprised you the most? I'm curious, like, about this whole process. Is there anything that has really surprised you?
Um, how much I know now.
Hmm.
Like, I really feel like I know a ton about this process. Like, eh, I have so many ideas. I feel like I can actually kind of look like that third product that I selected. Like,
Hmm.
I went straight to find the supplier. I saw it and I knew it would sell well.
Hmm.
Um, so I didn't have to order samples and do a validation
Hmm.
on that one in particular. Had I seen that when I started, I wouldn't have even noticed it. Like
Yeah,
I would have. It wasn't on anyone's list. It wasn't on any of the tools that you
bestsellers
can
list.
buy's list. It wasn't on any of the bestsellers really.
Hmm.
But the volume was good enough to have an impact that I wanted in my portfolio.
Hmm.
For my brand, it fits with my brand. Um, and yeah, I jumped right away,
Hmm.
and I'm very confident it will sell.
Yeah,
Um, you know, not through the roof, but I think it will be a maintained product that will do
yeah,
well.
yeah. And I
Um,
love that you say portfolio, because that's really the way I look at it too. These are assets, and if you can kind of own a small piece
yeah,
of real estate on Amazon, it's incredibly valuable, and you can
yeah,
maintain that asset. You have to obviously, trim the garden, paint the building, and just keep it
yeah,
intact. Keep it in the best shape
absolutely.
possible over time, but it
Yep,
can stay there for a long, long time.
yep. So surprises like one selling 19 a day blew me away. I hadn't expected that at all.
Hmm.
That was really awesome, um, and yeah, it's possible. You can
Hmm.
do it.
Hmm.
And two, the knowledge, like how much I know now is like I'm confident in myself. Like
Hmm.
I feel like I know the system now. Not
Hmm.
everything. Like there's still so much I can still learn. Like I need to figure out, inventory management. I haven't had to deal with that yet.
Hmm.
Um, and continuing with Amazon ads and the KPI trackers and promotion stuff. Like I haven't dove into that so much yet.
Hmm.
Um, but based on what I've learned all the way up until this point, you know, I think think I'll do well with that stuff too when I need those tools.
Absolutely.
And that's coming right up, but I'm pretty excited. Like, yeah. And I'm still very, very much a passionate learner. So I love, I've been kind of taking it step by step, and being very, very thorough with learning each process along the way. And so those are the next few steps.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so proud of you, and really massive congrats. I know you're going to be even more successful in the next 12 months, no doubt about it, and I'm really excited for you, and maybe we'll chat again after a year or something, to share what's happened. But it's just, it's just you're learning the system, you feel you can do it, you can do it, and you have more energy towards
Absolutely.
it.
I'm super excited about it. Like, as I said, like, what surprised me is the knowledge. I have confidence that this works. I'm really limited in my capital and being able to scale, but I think I'm still just getting started, and I think it's smart to just keep a sustainable growth.
Yeah,
I've got 20 ideas, but I should just go with these 3 and then grow from there.
Absolutely. This is the biggest thing now. Is like, and I had this happen 3 times with my own brands. It's like I've imploded because we got too excited and we expanded too quickly. And if you can't sustain the product with your cash, like it's much more advantageous to let your products be able to grow, like the ones you already have, if you can support them with capital, so they continue to build the momentum. There's this extraordinary potential, often within 1 or 2 products, So if you dilute yourself and you can't maintain them, that's not a good situation,
Right.
So
this is, you can't stay in stock, and we'll see. I'm sure be running into some of that.
Yeah.
but
we'll chat about it. So I know we're almost at 60 minutes. I don't want to keep you too long, but is there anything that is there any main number 1 type of, I know you've given a lot of advice, but is there anything for members of Infinity?
Believe in yourself. Like, have confidence, believe in yourself. Don't be afraid to jump over the hurdles. There are a lot of hurdles, but don't be afraid to jump over it. Reach out to people. This group, there are other groups that they're willing to share their knowledge. Don't be afraid.
So, like, use the community and connect with others.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And don't be afraid of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's just and the belief, like you mentioned, continue, jump over the hurdles. Don't let anything stop you, because there's going to be hurdles along the way. That's just the way any journey is. That's worthwhile. Just like triathlon, there's a lot of hurdles you have to go through there. But all right, William, thank you so much for taking the time. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope people get a lot of value and just excitement, inspiration. Yeah,
I hope.
Yeah,
trying to inspire myself even more too. So
yeah. But it's cool to hear from someone else, like not just me, and someone that just got started, and made it happen, or is making it happen. So, all right, thanks so much.
Thank you.